So here I am just driving through Shale Hills Dog Park. It's part of this Western City Parklands Trust out at West Hoxton. Lovely ground. And here I'll be doing a bit of a review. I've owned the Hilux for 4 years now, or coming up 4 years. And we're going to chat about the myth of Hiluxes being unbreakable. Is it true or just marketing spin? More on that after the intro. Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Matt. Welcome to Roads of Oz, and look at this glorious autumn's day in Sydney. It was too good to film indoors. So most of us have seen that video done by Top Gear saying how the Hilux is unbreakable, watching Jeremy Clarkson drive it around like an absolute tool, smash into things, blow the vehicle up, submerge it in salt water, and be surprised that it still runs when you have a team of mechanics get the thing going. And Toyota fanboys jumped on it, and you know, even Toyota marketing, Toyota Hilux unbreakable. Not entirely true. Doesn't matter how well engineered a car is, when they get older, they need care, and if you abuse them, things will break. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know this was originally my father's. He had it pretty much from brand new, looked after it very well, and he gave it to me with about 170,000 kilometres on it. Since then, you've seen I've carried out over 60,000 kilometres. Now, realistically, this car is at the back end of its life. All right, so you can see it's done 232,000 kilometres. It is 15 years old, and things will break. It doesn't matter what advertising they say, what Toyota fanboys say. End of the day, things are going to break on it, and I'm going to take you through what's broken on mine. Alright, since I've had it, so we're going to jump in here, and things I've replaced. Alternator, that was replaced at about 20 to 30,000 kilometres ago, and just recently, you can see it looks nice and new down there, is the AC compressor. Now, both of those things failed, and these things will happen. The car's done over 200,000 kilometres. Like just about any other car, things will fail on it. And problem is, when you fix one thing, you'll find something else. What I've just recently come to notice, a bit of rust starting to form there, and when I pulled this down, I don't know if you can see it, but underneath it's starting to rust, and that explains why I was getting water. When it rained heavy, and it had to be heavy, you can see all water stains here. So inside the car is very basic. You can see everything is basic about it. Wind up windows, no central locking, very simple dash, temperature, speed, odometer and fuel gauge. I have updated the stereo, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I've recently installed that. Wasn't overly hard, but a review is coming. I need to use it for a few months and actually do a proper review on it. It gets quite warm in here. Being a small cabin, it heats up quite quickly. On the plus side, with the air conditioning, cools down just as quick. Nothing overly fancy, simple basic air conditioning and basic glove box, some places to store things, two-seat bench and a single, it's two-seat for the passenger, though only small kids you put it in the middle, otherwise you are committing some sort of torture. Seats, nothing spectacular, quite basic, but they will do the job. The base model are generally picked up by tradesmen and also companies that employ tradesmen because of the affordability of one of these. It's quite basic though, and that's the thing I love. And as you know, I always say go for the base model when you've got an older car. There's just less things that can fail on them. I mean, my model's such a base model, it's still got wind up windows, which any kid under 10, you've got to actually show how to operate them. So things are broken on it. Do I trust the vehicle? Absolutely. I take this vehicle everywhere. I go away in it. when I head down the coast in it. I pack up the bikes on it. At the end of the day, it's my primary transport. It's my go-to. Pretty much you will find me driving this car, say about 60% of the time. So my one's quite different. It doesn't have an alloy tray. Reason I like this, carry a bit more weight. It's capable of holding a bit more weight. Much better for lugging heavier items. Downside is rust. Starting to rust. This probably needs some treatment, or eventually get a new one, and I'm umming and ahhing what to do. One of the things this car does very well is blends in. No one looks twice at it. I've left this unlocked by mistake. No one goes in it. There's just nothing worth taking. And you look at it, it's very basic. There is nothing worth taking in it. So it does fly under the radar. It's not, because there's nothing fancy about it, it doesn't get attention, and therefore it doesn't get thieves' attention. So things to watch out for. Look, no, I'm no expert. I'm no mechanic, but these are more common sense items. If you don't need a four-wheel drive, don't get the four-wheel drive. The reason I say this is vehicles that are 15 years old that are four-wheel drives are generally going to be owned by four-wheel drive enthusiasts that are on a budget. And because it's viewed as a cheaper car, they'll treat it far more harshly than they would a newer four-wheel drive. So if you don't need a four-wheel drive, don't buy one. It's just more maintenance, heavier vehicle, more costs in lugging it around, more petrol, and it uses more petrol. Speaking of petrol, this one's no miser either. Alright, so let's talk about the engine. The engine's a 2.7 litre 4-cylinder petrol motor that's been around since the mid-90s, which is a ridiculously long run for an engine to be in production in today's environment, especially with fuel consumption, and this thing does consume the juice. You average between 11 and 12 litres per 100 kilometres, which, if economy is your thing, this is the antichrist for economy. It's a 4-cylinder, 11 to 12 litres. How they're still being allowed to be made today is unbelievable, but they are. Now, just on the 2.7 litre, Toyotas, they brag about their reliability, and all your Toyota fans, they say how reliable they are. This thing should be reliable. This 2.7 motor has been around since 1997. Coming up 25 years and it's still in the car. I reckon that's got to be some sort of record almost, but it's still there. Not much has changed, and that's Toyota's trick. On the upside, serviceability. Every mechanic has worked on a Hilux at some stage, and they are fairly cheap to keep serviced. Every 10,000 k's I swap the oil and filter. Then at the 20,000 k mark, or 12 months, whatever comes first, I get the mechanics to go over it, and they do another service on it, pretty much just for rego checks, and to make sure that they highlight any issue that I might have missed, or any upcoming issue. You know, think brakes, coolant, things like general wear and tear items. Now, being a 15-year-old car, it will leak oil. Unless you want to go and spend a small fortune fixing every leak. Mine leaks, only minor. If it was a major leak, yep, definitely get it fixed. And in my opinion, that's Toyota's reliability trick. Don't overwork the engines and they'll last a long time. Very simple physics really when you think about it. So do I recommend them? Check the work history, check the person who's buying it, look at the general condition of the vehicle, check underneath it, is it all smashed up? Don't buy a 15-year-old car thinking nothing is going to go wrong with it. I can guarantee you it is. Am I planning on keeping this car? Absolutely. Got no interest in selling it. I believe I can get another 50 to 60,000 k's out of it if I look after it, and that's what I do. I don't push it, don't race it, don't take it to extreme off-road conditions, although I have had it off-road, but nowhere you couldn't get to in a normal sedan. Anyway, there you have it. That's just my thoughts on my 15-year-old Toyota Hilux. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video interesting, please like, share, and if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next vid. So what's it like to drive? Well, basic. It just does the job. It starts, it stops. The 2.7 litre 4-cylinder petrol motors coupled up to a 5-speed manual, and you just run through it. Gears, you wouldn't race through the gears, and it drives fairly well.